Thanks, guys. I am joined with Hakuho. Congratulations on the 2-1 win, and now that puts you at 3-0 in the standings, tied up there with Immortals. First of all, how do you feel coming off of that win?
I feel pretty good. I think we were all expecting a win, though there was an issue with the second game.
You were expecting a win. What was it going into this game that led you to expect a win?
I mean, we just all know that we have better strategy, macro play for the most part, compared to Apex. First game, we rotated everywhere, and they were always trying to follow us. I think we knew coming into this, if we just got the rotations game, we'd win.
And what kind of preparation leads you to find this sort of macro strategy ahead of time, to have this confidence?
I think Seraph is just really smart. He knows the macro game perfectly, and he shot calls everything, rotations. And Ninja just makes pressure for Proxen so we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, that's something that we talked about a little bit. The Korean trio, meanwhile, you and Lod just kind of clean up whoever gets left behind by the three. So what's that like for you?
I think it works pretty well. Me and Lod are really confident in our laning, and if we go even or win, we can just make pressure for the rest of them and let them do whatever they want, and then we can rotate.
All right. Well, Hakuho, thank you so much. Congratulations on the win. Look forward to seeing you later this weekend. We're going to send it over to the guys at the analyst to break that down.
Thank you very much, Dom. Envy coming out 3-0 now to start their split here in the summer, 2-1 over Apex. So the 3-game series went the distance, but they looked good here in this third game.
Well deserved.
Yeah, very much well deserved. Kobe, when we were talking before this third game, what should these teams do? We said, well, maybe not early action. Let's not force something they're not comfortable with. And then what happened? We had 3 level 1 fights across the map. We had Proxen picking up 2 early kills, and then carrying that throughout the game, almost hitting that 100% kill participation, except for 1 kill they got away in the end. But overall, a relatively active early game here, so kind of switching things up. And then, of course, we saw the game really blow open at that 20-minute mark. With the ace that Envy secured.
Yeah, I mean, they decided to all-in commit to that level 1, and then boom, that's a explosion you were talking about. But here we go. Here's the mid-game where they try and funnel in, and this is actually a really crucial point because you can see Jax heading down right now. Jax is going to head off. He's going to get off this big stun, but nobody really follows. They're a split second too far away. And if you have a DPS top laner, you don't have a split second. You need to be in there right when he initiates, and then he goes downwards instead of going over to the other team. Once he's dead, Jax is out of the fight, it's over, and they just get cleaned up.
Yeah. I mean, they committed so much to the start of that. Flash Coon, they're going all in, trying to delete this guy. The Kindred ult comes down, denies that completely, and
egged,
exactly, it's
gotta kill the egg.
It's a big commitment, and it just didn't pay off. Kindred ults were absolutely huge in this game, especially for the kind of playstyle that they had been having. It's very explosive. Jump in, delete someone, get out. That's how Ray had liked to play, and that's how the team had been playing. Off of these really fast picks. Kindred shut it down.
I mean, it definitely felt a little forced. After the Kindred ult came out. I mean, you're attacking a team that has a Nivea, Karma, and a Kindred, right? We're very happy to continue to kite back. Once they had gotten the Kindred ult out, probably would have liked to have seen them back off, say, great, we'll continue scaling just like you guys do. We've got Jax and Swain, we're happy to do that. That being said, let's go ahead and look at that top lane matchup again. This time we see the Fizz come through on the side of Seraph. Seraph taking a different approach, though, going for that Triforce, kind of matching Jax along the way as opposed to taking a page out of Ray's book and going for the more tanky build.
Yeah, I really like the new Triforce for Fizz. The old Triforce was great, fine on him as well. But really, the main thing for this game to me was we saw some mistakes from Ray for kind of the first time. He looked a little bit after the first mistake, they kind of snowballs into a couple. Just a couple little decision-making things from him. Everybody has a bad game though, so it's the first one kind of I've seen from him.
Forgivable. Forgivable. Oh, well,
I'm being so lenient here.
He can't have another one, is what you're saying. He only gets one, right? All right, well, I got to drive us over to the player of the game. This is going to go to Proxen for this one. As we mentioned, picking up 2 early kills, turning that into 3, 1, and 9 as a final score line. Fantastic ganks, great kill participation, and then a few really crucial teamfight ultimates coming through.
Yeah, he played great. I think he really deserves it. The fact that he was involved in almost everything, he was everywhere on the map. He farmed exceptionally well. He had really high teamfight damage as well because he had picked up all his kills, all this farm. And Elise is someone who's already going to get outscaled pretty heavily by the Kindred. And then this is a Kindred with involvement in everything and a ton of farm, and he was just so strong. Really came out big for his team.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like this was pre-nerf Kindred. Plenty of damage, got all the early ganks off, plus utility for later.
What do you guys feel about these teams in terms of like assessing their power level? We've now seen 3 series out of them. This was a rather close series. We for new teams didn't maybe have a ton of expectations of them coming in, but they're continuing to impress. And even in the loss today, Apex extended the series, right? So what are our thoughts about these 2 newcomers?
I mean, I said it before, but I really noticed the difference in teams that have a very strong leader, and not just shot caller. Like every team's got people feeding information, and somebody makes a decision. Oh, that's the shot caller. But actual leadership qualities, and Seraph does have that, and it's really cool to see his growth over the years that he's been in North America. And now he is this top lane shot caller and leader, and so he's able to really manipulate the side lanes really well. And you rarely see them get behind on the side wave manipulation.
I just think it's such a huge win for Envy because after the first week, it's like, great, they're 2-0. They beat 2 teams that were 0-2.
Right.
Now they took out another team at the top of the tables who, by the way, beat the defending champions. So they're really kind of like putting themselves out there. And this is a team that I don't think had high expectations for themselves. Now taking down another top contender shows that these guys are here to compete, and they're going to be a serious challenge for anyone who goes up against them.
Yeah, very big, very meaningful victory for Envy today. Now, of course, let's take a look at the updated standings following tonight's matches. With their wins tonight, Envy and Immortals are kings of the hill with 3 wins each, and with a chance to grab a share of first place tomorrow sits TSM at 2-0. Alone in 4th is now Apex, and the 1-1 Cloud9 and Echo Fox make up the middle of the pack with the winless Counterlogic Gaming, Liquid, Phoenix One, and Energy falling to the bottom of the standings. Tomorrow, though, make sure to be aware of all the action happening on both of our streams. On NALCS 1, look out for CLG and Liquid, followed by Phoenix 1 and Cloud9. NALCS 2 brings the heat with Energy Esports taking on Echo Fox, followed by TSM and Apex in the 2nd series. And on Sunday, don't miss out on some key matches, including Immortals versus TSM and the defending champion CLG taking on Cloud9. That's a couple really old school matches I can't wait to see here. But I do want to talk about tomorrow's series a little bit, particular ones that you're looking out for, teams or matches.
I want to see how TSM performs. They haven't even dropped a single game so far.
I was going to say that.
Well, now you got to come up with something. Well, while he continues to talk, you have some time to come. You got to come up with something
Early
else.
bird catches the worm, Kobe. So TSM, I am really looking forward to seeing that. They can move themselves to the top of the table with Immortals to really set up for a Clash of the Titans on Sunday. Already exciting for that game. And if they're able to take another 2-0, it's going to be a huge game for Immortals on Sunday.
Yeah. The next team I'm looking for further development is Fox.
Okay.
Because yeah, exactly, the backup Fox. But yeah, that's another top laner where we can see the feast or famine style. KFO, he wants to play carries. They're probably going to let him play carries. And Froggen, he likes a little bit slower paced game. So that's a team where I really want to see how they decide to mix, because it seems like they might have players with different styles. See how they work together.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about a few other things real quick. I want to ping back on champion diversity. I know that you and I were having a conversation earlier today about we're very happy about where a lot of the recent patches have put a lot of champions, because it feels like, as opposed to in the past where there's been 1 or 2 S-tier champions that are 100% pick ban across all roles, we've now got 10+ champions viable in each role, and it really makes for some interesting and more adaptive champion select than anything in these best of 3s.
Yeah, I think one of the things that has been an interesting trend, in this new split, is that bans feel much more reactive rather than just kind of set in stone. It's not like, ooh, got to get those S tiers out of there. We got to ban, Echo or Poppy. We got to ban Maokai. We got to ban both the junglers. Now it feels a lot more reactive. People are like, okay, this is what they beat us with. Let's get that out of there. And let's try something new.
As far as it goes as well, I think that we have a long ways to go for progression here.
Oh, yeah.
There are definitely other champions that are strong, or I think are strong right now, that have yet to see playtime just because people haven't practiced them as much. I already mentioned the Alawi, talked about that a whole bunch. You don't want to hear anymore.
I
do not. I got another one for
what
you.
About the Alawi, Kobe?
There's another tentacle monster, and it's Vel'Koz, and he got some massive buffs in the last patch.
I like how you tied that together.
Tentacle monster theme, but we're talking about high damage supports. Everybody's like, oh my god, Zyra came out of nowhere. Everybody's using her now. She's really strong zone control. the new Vel'Koz got super strong buffs,
Right.
and he can put out a lot of damage and control a lot of areas as well.
It's the classic Azir counter, but Azir got nerfed, right? So
Could be mid or support, so he's flex
Okay.
pick.
Okay, yeah, it's the new Zyra, right? The new Zyra support. Crazy damage coming from your support. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here at the LCS studios tonight. We're back in less than 24 hours, though, and looking forward to seeing you again. So now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for spending your Friday night with us, and we'll see you tomorrow.